people and say, hey, can I run something by you? How would you handle this?
That's valuable. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Leilani Brown, author of From Campus to Cubicle. My name is Donyshia Boston-Hill, along with Ray Schwetz, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hey, America. We need to have a little talk. I don't know if you've noticed, but we got a lot of food in this country. A lot of peaches, a lot of corn, a lot of apples, a lot of everything. We've got so much food that we can't even eat it all. So if we got all this extra food, how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? I just don't get it. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to the hungry kids who need it. They can get you food even if you live in Idaho or Alaska or somewhere crazy like that. This isn't complicated. We got extra food and we've got hungry kids. Feeding America's done the math. Now it's your turn. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. I know you got internet on your phone, so what are you waiting for? We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Donyshia Boston-Hill, along with Ray Schwetz. And our guest today is Leilani Brown, author of From Campus to Cubicle. Now that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
And a journey. And it's definitely a journey going from being an undergrad or grad school into the workforce. And I would ask, where did you get this foundation? You went to Middlebury College.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what is Middlebury and your undergrad, experience mean to you? And how did it contribute to From Campus to Cubicle?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great institution. I'm very proud alumni. I serve on the board of trustees, and I would say that it gave me an additional curiosity, if you will, about the world, and so much international exposure and meeting people from all walks of life. So I love the school for that. But I'd say, relative to the workforce, I think that where I am now is the combination of all of my experiences growing up in Queens, New York, being a public school graduate, very proud New York City public school alumni. Exactly. Are you a New York City public school alumni?
No.
But I think
my wife is a teacher in there, so
but I think
I'm giving
also,
her a shout out.
Well, that's good. I think that's good. I think we have to, celebrate our school systems.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I was a kid who was always working. I was thinking about that as I was heading over. I got my working papers. I don't even know if they issue those anymore. I got my working papers at 14, and so. While college was very important, I never had an internship, but I had summer jobs. So I registered in Queens for temp agencies, and I would go into these major corporations at 18 years old to serve as a temp, a floating temp. And that gave me some exposure as well.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, I was intern for 4 times for 4 companies, and it depends on the company. It's not all roses, but
that's also a good lesson to learn.
It is. It is. Our good friend here, Ray, he is a proud alumna of Nassau Community College. That's definitely some of the reason why we're here today, and why he's so passionate about this show and bringing your message to give back to your alma mater in the world.
Yeah, I don't think we talk about how fantastic community colleges are and what a service they provide in terms of educating and continuing education for adult students, adult learners, or people who have had different types of starts in their educational journey. The practical learning that occurs in a community college is unparalleled. But we have a tendency, we as a world have a tendency to celebrate the 4-year colleges and these big programs, and I think that that's great. At the same time, we should celebrate the pathway that community colleges provide, not only to education but into the world of work.
No, absolutely. And, I know we've been discussing that for Campus to Cubicle is mostly, focused on geared towards undergraduates. But what about, people returning to work or retirees or veterans? And, talk to me a little bit about who your reader is.
What I have found most gratifying about this project is the career services offices in a lot of colleges, both 4-year and 2-year and community colleges and even vocational schools, their reception to the book and providing it to their graduates and their students and their new interns. There is one school I won't mention. There are several schools, but it's in Washington, D.C., but they provided it to their 550 graduates through our ebook. And it's been pushed out, and I have data that every single graduate opened up the copy of the book.
Wow.
Some of them several times. What's been very, very rewarding is the idea that that the reader is coming in and saying, this is actually really helpful. I read it, I got it, it's helpful, I'll think of it. It's a good reminder, a good refresher, versus them feeling like somebody gave this and this is a rule book or condescending in any way. I didn't want it to do that.
Yes, this certainly isn't a book that you're going to put on a shelf and just kind of leave there.
I hope not.
It's definitely a useful tool. So the physical copies you can have, the ebooks I'm hearing.
Yes, and it's also available on Kindle.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So let's jump into a little bit of rapid fire. So you are a CMO of a major insurance agency. You're giving back from Campus to Cubicle. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of marketing executives?
Okay, so right now, there is Jeff Jones. He's the former CMO of Target, and he most recently went to Uber. I was a fan. I've met Jeff before, and I was a fan of his because I liked the way he handled the crisis communication after the Target data breach. And I now admire him even more, quite frankly, making a personal integrity-filled decision to leave Uber when he felt that he could not represent the brand. So I think he's fantastic. I am a fan of Bozoma St. John.
She's great.
Fantastic, right? So she was a head of Apple Music and just left Apple Music, ironically, to go to Uber. And so I'm excited to see what she's going to do with that brand. And I am a fan of DJ Khaled. And he is a music artist and also social media phenom. Number one, I don't know how to use Snapchat. My son refuses to teach me. But I do think that what he's been able to do in terms of putting his stamp on a number of different brands and creating a house of brands for himself, and even insofar as he is become a brand ambassador for TurboTax, and that's
great branding,
a fantastic thing. So I think I'm a fan of hip hop. I'm a student of hip hop, but if I watch how that art form has been leveraged to promote what I find he's doing so in such an interesting way, is doing it using social media as a channel. So right now he's up there, but Mount Rushmore could be changed around.
Those top three is fantastic.
Yeah. They're just different, right?
Yeah.
And so different thinkers. I like different thinkers.
I love it.
You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, and our guest today is Leilani Brown. She is author of From Campus to Cubicle.
Now, Leilani, describe yourself in 3 words.
Determined, candid,
it's rapid fire. Got to think quick.
Humorous. I think I have a good sense of humor.
Okay, cool.
It's not a word.
That works.
And what motivates you? Like we've learned what motivated you to write the book, but daily, what motivates you and keeps you pushing forward?
I think service just motivates me. I think we underestimate our own ability to create a legacy, to touch people, to affect people and help them. And the first time somebody came back and said, I saw you, or I heard you say this, or you offered me counsel. And there are times when I just don't remember because I have a bad memory, but that touches me. That motivates me to keep doing it.
Okay. Now, earlier you said you wanted to jump back to a little tip. So
yes.
Yeah,
so we were talking about birthdays and birthday likes on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
And I can't remember who put forward. I follow a lot of marketing people on Twitter and LinkedIn, but I don't know who put this tip forward, so I can't give them attribution, but I'm not claiming it as mine. But I thought this was interesting. On your birthday, you get the most likes, the most views on your social media. Everybody wishes you happy birthday. And so this person, it was a man, he said, the next time you have something to launch, do it on your birthday. There are more eyes on your social media organically on your birthday than any other time. So a friend of mine, Deb Elam, actually, hey Deb, she's in New Orleans, and she launched her new business. She's recently retired, president of the GE Foundation, and she recently launched her business on her birthday. And I said, so smart.
So smart.
So smart.
That is
so it's the perfect time.
I'm like writing notes here. Tidbit, and all our listeners out there, you should
launch
be writing
it on your
notes.
birthday, or have a contest on your birthday, or a celebration on your birthday.
Yeah. Well, I follow you on social media, and I've seen a lot of celebrities with this little book in their hand.
I have some. So we all have in our lanes or in our segments, we all have influencers.
Okay.
And so if you have a product or a service, you can get some of those influencers to, hold your product or promote.
Dare I name? I've seen like Soledad O'Brien.
Yes. She picked up the book and gave me a shout out, which was really, really nice. Curtis Martin is a friend and colleague. We work on some projects together, so he gave me a shout out, and quite a few other folks. It's been wonderful. I have held back, though. That's one thing that I need to work on is the ask. So I know a lot of celebrities, and I don't. I have to work on myself, the ask.
All right. Well,
but
they're listening.
Nice.
So,
hey, folks,
they won't have an excuse now.
Plug my book. Well, you know what? We have a lot of times we have business relationships, and our networks are vast and they're wonderful. But I've been leveraging my network around bulk sales into certain corporations and institutions, and that's been really, really wonderful for the book as well.
What final tips or tidbits would you like to leave with our listeners today? And how can they find you and check out your book?
Well, you know what I would probably do? I would read a selection from the book, and then I'll give you all of my contact information.
Sure.
Is there a tip in particular that you think I should read, or I'll read you my favorite one.
All right, we gotta make it a quick one.
Okay. If you are lucky enough to be in the world of work for some time, someone will make you angry. Not something, but someone. So mad, in fact, that you're ready to give voice to the incredible injustice by telling them exactly what you think, that their mother dresses them funny, and that you don't believe that they are, in fact, qualified to be in the same room with you. And you might even be right. But those things, like many other things, are best left unsaid. So the real strength comes in your ability to pause. Wait 24 hours before you respond. You will likely find that your anger has subsided and you are able to give a far better response if there is a need to respond at all, because you cannot take it back. Chapter 11, pause.
Excellent. Love it. We'd like to thank our guest, Leilani Brown, author of the From Campus to Cubicle. Thanks very much for coming on the show, Leilani.
Thank you for having me. You can find me at LeilaniBrown.com and also FromCampusToCubicle.com. And we post on social media under the hashtag From Campus to Cubicle.
Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Donyshia Boston-Hill, your co-host and producers. The creative director of Tower Talk Business Radio is Rudy Breedy. This is an NCC Foundation Business Leaders Council production. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. This is available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We'll talk to you next week.